Welcome to the Youth Life Project Zambia. We believe in the youth because we believe in the youth. It is the reason why we want every youth to be aware out there that as a Youth Life Project Zambia, on all our platforms, all our social platforms, every Friday afternoon we will have new posts by the professionals that we identify as things or rather topics that affects the development or deter the success or the development of the youth. As a youth-led organization, it is our pride to look into the matters of the youth because we understand what affects youth.
My name's Ngelemina Chikama, and I am a youth activist and a nurturer by profession. Talking about politics, basically politics is, these are activities that are associated with the governance of a country or area, maybe especially debates between parties having power. It can also be activities that improve someone's status or increasing power within an organization. So from the youth perspective, politics also includes taking part in governance, being whether you're in leadership or not, it's all part of politics. Looking at why should young people take part in politics? First and foremost, giving a Zambian perspective, the Zambian population, around 36.7% of the Zambian population are youth in an organization. So from the youth perspective, politics also includes taking part in governance, being whether you're in leadership or not, it's all part of politics. Looking at why should young people take part in politics? First and foremost, giving a Zambian perspective, the Zambian population, around 36.7% of the Zambian population are youth, meaning that we are the majority in terms of whether taking active participation in governance, be it in economic affairs of the government. We are the most active group, that is the youth. So why should we be interested in politics? Basically, as a young person, I should be interested in politics because politics is what drives my life, be it in economics. If I have to get a job, if I have to start a business and I need empowerment, I as a young people have to have access to financials. So if I don't have this access, or if I don't know what opportunities are available for me, I will probably end up in poverty and just be complaining about politics. Why should I also be taking part in politics as a young person? Should I say, the future of any country lies in its young people. As a young person, if I don't take keen interest in politics now, who will govern the country in the next 5 to 10 years per se? Because we're looking at people taking part in active politics. I don't have to be an old person for me to say I need to be a leader. If I want to take part in politics, it is now that I should be interested in politics of the country, be it at what development level, be at councillor. And I think in the past 5 years, we've seen that there's active participation of young people even in governance, because we have young people who are standing as councillors, as MPs. I think we have an example of Honorable Wumba. We have an example of Tasila Lungu. So young people are now taking the lead. It's not just about taking the back bench. No, we as young people will realize that we need to take part in active participation in politics and governance for us to speak our own agenda, for us to drive the agenda of young people. Young people need to be represented by themselves, by somebody who's a young person, for the agenda of a young person to be taken forward. So an old person will not understand my problems, because the problems they had when they were youth might be different from the problems that I have as a young person at the moment. So basically that should be the reason why people should participate in politics. What is the importance of young people taking mass participation? It all goes back to what we want to see. If we want to see anything different, or if we want to see our problems being represented, we should be taking part in political affairs. Why other reasons should we be taking part? We need to know. We need to have information. For example, we have the Youth Development Fund. We have the current Presidential Empowerment Fund. If we have the current funds in under the Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock, where they are all targeted at young people. So if I'm not interested in politics, then how will I move forward as a young person? And if I don't take keen interest in political affairs, I will not know some of the opportunities that might be available for young people, for us to be able to take our agenda forward. Politics also involves being interested or taking part in leadership positions or governance from the youngest, from the smallest group, from participation in probably, let's say, in the home to the church, where we meet and we take leadership either in the youth ministry or any other available position. Coming back to the community, as a young person, we need to take keen interest, because, for example, in this now we have the COVID pandemic, and we have, rainy season in Zambia is famously known, especially in Lusaka, for cholera. So how as a young person, how will the government be able to register? Let's say if we have 5,000 new young people in our community. For example, I would give an example of my own community, China, where I come from. If we have, for example, 10,000 young people who are eligible to vote in the next election, who were not voters then, maybe in Mnali constituency, how I need to be able to find out by visiting our constituency office to see how many registration centers do we have as Munali constituency, and will I be able to register the total number of new young voters, in addition to the old people, of those of us who had voted previously, the people that were able to cast their votes in the 2016 elections, as compared to the total number of people who are also going to be eligible for the 2021. Will the current polling registration centers be available? Will they be sufficient to vote, to register people for the 1 month that the voter registration process will take place? Those are some of the questions as young people we need to be interested in. In our constituency, Munali MP, for example, in Chainda, we've got 3 polling stations. As a young person, my concern is, are these 3 polling stations going to be enough for young people to be able to register, especially? Not only for young people to register, the days that are being designated for for registration, which is our working days. How many young people would have that opportunity to register, especially if they have to work between Monday and Friday and only knocking off at 17? How are they going to be able to register, for example, in that area? If most of these young people are in universities, they might not have the time to come back home and go register. How then will they be able to register themselves as young people, as voters? So these are some of the issues that we need to take into our own hands as young people. If we have constituency development funds, how much of that constituency development fund is being implemented, and who are the target? What criterion is being used for targets? The youth development fund, how much of that fund is being released, for example, for my constituency in Munali? And if I'm not interested as a young person to go and find out what amount of money is available and what criteria do I need to have, or what is the selection criteria for young people, what skill centers do we have for young people? And I would give an example. In Munali constituency, we've got the Kalingalinga Skills Center. How many other skill centers do we have for our constituency as young people? And do they meet the demands that we have as a young people? The trade schools, how many do we have? The high schools, against the demand of the young people, how many do we have in these areas? So as a young person, these are some of the questions I should be able to be inquisitive about, and I should be able to get answers. Young people, why should they? What is my message to the young people? My message is very simple. Let's go out there ensure that we register as young people, because we are not just taking it as a political stance, no. But active participation in politics is my right. I have the right to choose who leads me in the next 5 years. And being voter apathy will not bring solutions. Staying away from politics does not mean that you'll be set free from the economic shocks that the country will have. You'll be set free from job insecurity as a young person. You will not be set free if you are not voting. You not voting, you give power to other people to decide on your behalf. So these are some of the things that we need to take into our own hands. So as a young person, let's be informed. Let's make sure that we take the right to vote. It's your constitutional right to choose the leaders that you have. Let's take keen interest in knowing what is happening in our local areas, in our wards, in our constituencies, in our we need to be able to take keen interest and speak to our leaders, speak to our councillors. Yeah, so as a young person, it's your right to vote. It's important that you are informed, for you to have informed decision. For you to have access to any empowerment funds, you need to be informed that they exist, that what you need to take is A, B, C, D for you to be able to get that fund. So being informed is very important as young people. Thank you.
Iwena inde Tinga chinje vitu na kuyenda pasoko.